My name is Jeff Nikos with Laros Point to Point, and my question is, where do you see this industry in 5 years?
Hey Jeff, that's an awesome question. Where are we going to be in 5 years? I think that our industry is in a state of transition right now, and very similarly, if you look around the show floor, what you see is buses, motor coaches, shuttle buses, sprinters, all the way down kind of to the Mercedes Metrix, which is the new vehicle being introduced, which could possibly be an SUV replacement. Whereas 5 years ago, you saw a tremendous amount of sedans and limousines and even SUVs, and prior to that, it was just all limousines. So our industry is definitely evolving from a technology standpoint, from a vehicle utilization standpoint. I think the safest bet, based on what's going on right now with TNCs and kind of the dynamic shift in technology, if all I can do is tell you what I would be looking at, because I don't think we can predict the future. I think the company that is really investing into acquiring customers that are doing group moves, bigger transportation, leveraging the bigger vehicles, are going to have a much safer time. I think the airport transfer part of our business is the one that is in the biggest point of flux right now. That doesn't mean that anybody's going extinct, that the sedan business is going to be gone, but I think that we have to leverage different points for that in regards to acquiring and retaining our customers. And that's all about, the in-car experience, but also the out-of-car experience, and providing more value for them. And one of the things that I think is really important is the type of customer that you're looking to acquire. If you're in the bottom percentile, 50% or below on your rate structure and even in your service deliverability, then I think you're extremely vulnerable. If you're not, if you're on the high end side, you're in the 50th, 60th, 70th, 80th, 90th percentile, and you have the service to back that up, there is always going to be a need for that. But I think what has to happen is that we really have to focus more on the out-of-car experience as opposed to the in-car experience. And what I mean by that is I'm not trying to mediate the in-car experience and say that it's not valuable. It most definitely is, because for many of us, or many of you, that's the only time that you make physical contact with the passenger or with your client. So that chauffeur experience in car is really important. But what happens prior to the trip and after the trip is just as important, especially when you're talking about travel managers, large event planners and meeting planners. So I think that there's this transition that started happening a couple of years ago, and it's just getting bigger and bigger right now into larger vehicles. You look at AJL and Premier in Dallas, who just got into the motor coach industry. I did in 2011 and started the motor coach division at Grand Avenue and had it to 16 motor coaches before I left there. And I look at what Reston Limousine is doing. I don't even know the number. You can contact Barry Gross or Tony Simon or Christina and ask them, but I think they have close to 200 buses from shuttles to motor coaches. And I went to UMA earlier this year, and there was a lot of limousine operators. You look at what Rose is doing in Charlotte, and just the amount of traction that Gretsch has gotten with their higher end buses, and people are DMCs are requesting those, event managers are requesting those, affiliates are making those mandatory because they want that luxury bus experience. So I don't know, Jeff, I really can't answer your question. I wish that I could, but I think if I was getting back into the industry, I would really want to be focused on large group moves and that larger equipment. If I was getting into the sedan and SUV business, I would be investing into higher end vehicles and higher end service, and really trying to differentiate ourselves and keep that separation between, taxi, black car, TNC from the luxury transportation. I think the companies that are at risk are the ones that are kind of right in the middle, that aren't luxury enough and aren't really competitive on pricing on the low end. I hope that answers your question, and I look forward to seeing you soon.